We are interrupting Queen Latifah now to give you this breaking news that we're continuing to follow. 90 minutes ago, a shooting inside a Norfolk mall at the gallery at Military Circle. One person was shot, several people in custody. And before I proceed any further, I want to issue this disclaimer about the video that you are about to see. It is quite graphic, so if you don't want to watch or you have young children in the room, we suggest that you make other arrangements or have them move out of the room at this point. But we will show you some video now of what happened inside the mall. These are still photos you're looking at first from Jason Marks, and this is video that came into our newsroom. And as I speak of Jason Marks, he is live at Military Circle Mall now with the latest information. Jason, what do you have?
Well, Tom, the investigation into that shooting continues inside the mall. We know that it happened just after 1 o'clock, as you mentioned. Now, here's what Norfolk police are telling us. They said that some sort of fight broke out in one of the wings of the mall, and that's when that gunfire erupted. We know one person was hit, taken to the hospital. We have not heard a condition on that victim. Now, we've been here for about 30 minutes now. We've seen several people taken away in handcuffs, put in the back of police cars. We do not know if those are suspects. We don't know if they're persons of interest. Right now, this is an ongoing crime scene, obviously, so we're not getting the information yet from Norfolk police because they're just sort of doing their investigation. Hopefully, we start getting some more information about how many people they have in custody, if any. But we can tell you that there were a lot of shoppers in the mall. As you can imagine, it's Friday afternoon. It's Valentine's Day. It's a nice day. Those who were last minute buying their Valentine's Day gifts were inside the mall doing what they could to get those gifts. And so as you can imagine, there were a lot of people in the mall when that gunfire erupted. We talked with one woman a short time ago who said it was very scary. She was just walking around the corner, heard a loud pop, and she had no idea what was going on. And then it was chaos for a little while until Norfolk police could get their grasp on the scene. Now, I can tell you inside the mall, you see some of those pictures, or you might have seen some of those pictures that I shot from inside the mall with my cell phone. You can see it's one quarter of the mall, one hallway that's blocked off on either side with crime scene tape. You have investigators inside the mall and police officers who are kind of guarding that area, and what they're doing is they're systematically going through the mall as they do with any crime scene tape and looking for evidence. So you see a bunch of little yellow evidence cards on the ground. Very weird to see inside a mall, but that's exactly what we have here today. Obviously, this investigation right now continues, and it's just in the process of happening. We know that police officers are out here talking to the witnesses. They're also talking to shop owners or employees of those shops who are inside. Anyone who could help them sort of detail what happened inside the mall to let them get a really clear picture of exactly what went place, how this shooting happened. That's what police officers are doing here right now in the parking lot. They're just talking to witnesses, and obviously, as you can imagine, Tom, a lot of people around at the time.
Jason, I want to ask one quick question here. Several people taken into custody, as you have said. Are police confident that one of the people in custody is the person who pulled the trigger?
Great question, Tom, and we don't know that just yet. We have not heard any word yet from Norfolk police since we've been on this scene. All we know is what we're seeing with our own eyes. We know that we saw people in handcuffs in the back of cars. I know that when I was in the mall, as soon as I got there was a young man in a green shirt who was let out in handcuffs, put in the back of that car. So we know that 3 people were in the back of police cars with handcuffs on them. So we don't know if those are suspects. We don't know if those are persons of interest. That's something we're trying to get from Norfolk police. Right now, there's not a police spokesman out here to give us that information. Usually that helps a lot, and hopefully we will start getting some of that information, some of those details. How many people do they have in custody? Are these suspects? So, condition of the victim. All of that stuff is what we're working on right now to get from Norfolk police.
And we can surmise basically that you said part of the mall is shut down, not the entire mall. So we could actually, I hate to say the word speculate, but we can almost surmise that if there was somebody on the loose they were looking for, you can bet that mall would be shut down at this point. So we still have to wait, though, for confirmation from police on this. But Jason, one more question about the shoppers. Can you gauge the mood among people there now that you've talked to?
Oh, obviously a lot of fear. There were a lot of people in the movie theater who had no idea what was happening, and the movie let out, and as you can imagine, Tom, you've been to a movie, you walk out, you're a little disoriented, right, and the last thing you expect to see is crime scene tape and police officers. Imagine that. I mean, and so that's what a lot of shoppers are going through. A lot of them are walking into the mall because the mall is open, just that one wing is closed down. A lot of shoppers are walking in and walking right back out. There's a lot of fear right now. I can tell you that firsthand. I talked with a woman who was one of those people coming out of the movie who was just disoriented. It's not something you expect to see on a Friday afternoon after leaving a movie. You don't expect to see a crime scene right in the middle of a mall, but that's what we have here today, Tom.
And a Valentine's Day and a beautiful weather day. Certainly never we want to see a scene like this in Hampton Roads. Jason Marks reporting live at the Gallery at Military Circle Mall, the scene of a shooting today. Let me briefly recap what we know at this point. The first call came in the Norfolk police at roughly 1:08 in the afternoon, roughly 90 minutes ago, that a fight had erupted inside the Gallery at Military Circle between two men. One of the men was shot, the other suspect at the scene detained. That was the initial report from police, but you heard Jason say that they had several people in custody. We're not sure if they're suspects or people of interest at this time, and we're also not clear if one of those people taken into custody was the person who pulled the trigger. Those are some of the questions we have to continue to find answers to between now and news time at 5 o'clock. And also, we're following this story on social media, on wavy.com, and I was just handed a comment from wavy.com a short time ago. It comes from Scott. This is his account. He says, "I was there with my family and heard the shooting. We escaped out the back of Bath and Body Works thanks to a lady who worked there. I called 911 about 13:08. That's 1:08 in the afternoon, seconds after the shooting. After we got outside, 2 shots heard from the food court area." That came from Scott a moment ago. Now we're going to go back to Jason Marks because we understand Jason may have some new information. Jason?
Yeah, Tom, let me just jump on a couple of points you just brought up. I heard from several people how great the employees in those shops you mentioned were, that all these employees were really coming to the rescue of the shoppers that were in there. So that really backs up what I'm hearing out here. That really illustrates that point. One other thing that was interesting that you mentioned, when we talk about the suspects and the persons of interest, what we're being told is there was some sort of fight going on. And we don't know if that fight was one-on-one. We don't know if that fight was 4-on-1. And so the people who are taking out in handcuffs here, they could be part of that fight, not necessarily the trigger man, but part of that fight who could be charged with something else. I'm sure there's some sort of charge for fighting in a mall, maybe something with public disruption or something like that. I can't tell you offhand what that charge would be, but obviously that they could be connected to the incident, but not actually the trigger people.
All right, Jason Marks, I know there's a lot of questions here, a lot of loose ends to tie up, and police are still, you see them cruising the parking lot there. We also saw some shoppers going in and out of part of the mall, confirming what you said, that much of the mall is open this afternoon. But a strong police presence, as you can see, as detectives are working to piece together exactly what happened, who will be charged, and of course the condition of the man shot. We understand he went to the hospital, and we are not sure of his condition yet at this point. But again, one person shot at the Gallery at Military Circle roughly 90 minutes ago, close to 2 hours ago. We're going to be following this story throughout the afternoon. People here in our assignment desk in the Wavy newsroom and reporters are making calls. We have more reporters on the scene to get to the story for you. And we're also following this on wavy.com and our Facebook page, social media, all of it dedicated to getting you the very latest information. We'll have much more coming up on Wavy News 10 beginning at 5 after the Olympics.
Breaking news, now live from Wavy News 10.